7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is good, everyone? It is your boy Politic and Hawk alongside my guy, Mr. Joey Woods, Mr. Moyo Fit Chris Wilson, be joining us momentarily. We are Still Steps coming to you live on a beautiful rainy Friday evening, courtesy of Edge of Philly Sports. Mr. Joey Woods, since you the only one up here, I ain't got to say gentleman at the moment. How are you doing this evening?
Can't complain, made it to another work week. Beautiful day. Not really beautiful. It's rainy outside, but made it through a work week. It's all that matters, right? And we got some action-packed wrestling this weekend that we're going to be attending. So can't complain,
Yeah, exactly, man. We got a ton of items to discuss this evening, so we are not going to hesitate, not 1 minute at all. So, one thing I will mention is we do have a special guest right now on the line, but joining us momentarily, we'll have Justin Valencia from X Brand Wrestling, who recently just had the Nightmare on Glassboro Rd event over at the H2O Center. So he'll be joining us, to discuss, that show as well as his party that's coming up this weekend. But before we begin tonight's show, again, I just mentioned we have a special guest. He is a journalist. He's also the promoter of the Wrestling Independent. He is none other than Mr. Mike Fresh. What is going on, Mike? How you doing? Welcome to the Still Stats, my brother.
Thank you. It's a good night. It's a busy past few days.
Oh, I know it is for you. You have, your upcoming event Woke Up this morning, taking place this weekend. So, we're definitely going to talk more about the event coming up. But one thing we love to do here on the Still Steps when we have a first time guest on our show, we love to be able to, dive in back into their past, almost going back to the childhood era when most of us, were exposed to professional wrestling. So my question to you, Mike, is when was your first moment of being exposed to professional wrestling?
I definitely remembered watching it as a kid, and I remember being a little kid and kind of being like a Roddy Piper and then like a Scott Hall fan. To this day, Scott Hall's still my favorite wrestler of all time.
Nice.
Because couldn't tell you when I started, but the first thing I remember was the ladder matches that he was having with 1-2-3 Kid at the time. That's like really the first thing that pulled me into wrestling.
Yeah, sounds good. Shoot, I think that sounds like around the time of like the old Monday Night Raw era, with both he Scott Hall and the 1-2-3 Kid were feuding amongst each other, and he scored that one fall, and next thing you know, it turned into long-term story time booking between the two. Nice. No, that's pretty awesome. So next question to you is like, having that exposure of professional wrestling, were there any like aspirations to actually become a professional wrestler, or did you think differently prior to having like moments of either wanting to be a professional wrestler or taking the business differently?
I never wanted to be a wrestler. I'm ever since I was younger, I'm just like physically awkward. Like sports and me don't work very well. But I always wanted, I remember enjoying the storytelling of Tony Schiavone in WCW. I remember, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Mike Tenay, and those were the guys that first drew me into it. So really the two things I've always wanted to do is commentary, which I do down at 1CW in Delaware. And I also have always wanted to be a manager at some point, but slowly working my way up there.
So you state you never really want to be in ring talent, which I'm with you on that. I love wrestling business, but taking bumps does not look like it's a fun experience. So I'll sit on the outside and watch it. But I know you have a huge show coming up tomorrow night. When you're booking a show or when you're putting a show together, is there any promoters in the past or promotions in the past that you use as inspiration when you're trying to construct a card?
One, I'm still a 90s WCW fan from like the great era of Nitro, those 83 weeks, like, there and abouts. I would hope that my card kind of has like that old school NWA feel to it. I'm really going for like a good hard hitting action, but there was a time where I used to work behind the scenes with Blue Meanie, and when he was running 3PW, and I'm always one of those people, like if you see me at the show, I'm probably quiet, I'm probably in the back, I'm probably in the corner, but I absorb a lot of things. And Meanie was actually mentored through some of the shows by Todd Gordon, so I got to listen to some of the stuff that Todd was saying. I also was able to really want to pull like a Philly feel. Like, I don't have any delusions of becoming ECW, but the ECW cards had a very specific flow to them. And that's kind of what I'm trying to replicate with it.
Yeah,
Shout out to Todd Gordon.
Absolutely. Prior guest of ours, shout out to Todd Gordon, man. One of the best in the business.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you said, I feel like a lot of people who run in Philly, they often try to become the next ECW, and that was a lightning in a bottle, which is very hard to do. But like you said, as long as you can get that feel, like you said, you're not going to be the next ECW, but if you can come close to it, that's a success. So let's put on fantasy booking here. There's
Okay.
no limits here, no limits at all. Show runs perfectly on Saturday. Everyone's saying we need a next show. Who would you love to have that's currently on the indie scenes? If everything could go perfect, everyone's booking was wide open, there was no scheduling conflicts, who would you like to have?
I'm going to bring up a couple names that I'm going to bring up three very specific names. If you go through my Twitter, I've tagged them a bunch of times.
Okay.
So before or when I first came back to wrestling, I was in wrestling 20 some years ago, kind of left because of my family, and then kind of came back when everything in 2021 about and I had the chance to to do commentary for this amazing wrestling show in Vancouver called WrestleCore. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. Like their Halloween show, like follows like almost like a Scooby-Doo-esque plot where they have like the guys like investigating stuff. Yeah, and they're just amazing. Shout out to Cobra Kai because he's also someone I learned a lot from. But there were three specific wrestlers. The one is this gentleman named G Sharp. He was trained by Allison Danger. I know that you can watch a wrestling show and certain specific spots, like, don't usually get as the exciting match. Like, you need some matches are kind of like, it's just kind of like a cool off, like, okay. And, the spot that G Sharp was in was definitely one of those traditional spots. And when he got there, everyone was just kind of like sitting. By the time his match ended, everybody was on their feet. I mean, like this guy went from everyone kind of sitting quiet to a superstar within a matter of minutes.
Nice.
My second talent is a female named Taryn from accounting. She works for Love Pro Wrestling up in Canada as well. She is so smooth and so good for someone that's only been doing this a few years. And there's some people that when you watch them when you're young or when they're young in the game, you realize that they just kind of get it.
Yeah.
And for Taryn, I don't know exactly how long it is, but I do know she's much like, I think she started training maybe in 2020, but you would think she's been, wrestling for 10, 12 years. Much of that has to do with her trainer. The guy known as God's Gift, Michael Richard Blaze. If you have not checked him out, you need to. And I'm not going to tell you who said that, or I'm going to tell you who said that first. His trainer that considers him his protege, Tyson King and Natalie Neidhart.
Oh, nice.
Like, he is that good that Tyson has completely said, this is the guy that everybody needs to see. For his celebration, he had his anniversary for wrestling earlier this year. He did an 8-hour gauntlet match where he did not leave the ring.
No way. Wow.
Is there somewhere we can check that out, like on YouTube or something?
If you look up WrestleCore, you'll see some matches with Michael Richard Blaze in it, and then his last name spelled really weird. But okay. I mean, it's just hands down why this guy isn't signed is beyond me.
That's crazy.
I wonder if he was on Natty's Instagram story just yesterday. Remember, I yesterday I was like,
he has long hair, a little bit light on top.
Yeah,
because he was the one that was in the ring to begin with, who was kind of going with everyone. Right, he was smooth, and I was like, this dude. I watched the dude since signed, but I love your answers because typically with the indie scene right now, you got those names that kind of dominate every show, the Cardonas or the Speedballs, which who are excellent wrestlers. But I love that you didn't go just that easy route and say these names. You know what I mean? Like, you went with guys who you saw in the past who are just excellent wrestlers in the ring who will put on a hell of a show for the fans, and I love that response.
I'm very loyal with people that take time to show me things and also take time to invest in me as what the same way that I invest in them. And also, and it's one of the things you're going to notice as more shows go on, I don't want to hire anybody that's signed anywhere. And that's just how I feel, because when you think of the big names, other than Effie and Cardona, who have kind of carved their own path, everybody that's signed is kind of the top of the quote unquote indie pool right now. Masha Slamovich is signed, but she's one of the most chased wrestlers in the world. You can pick from, anybody, and, Renegade Twins, Billy Starks, so where's the next true indie star going to come from?
Yeah. No, I agree 100% there. I love that answer.
I actually think you had one built for the show. Unfortunately, some obligations came up, and
you want to know what? One of the things that I pride myself on for different reasons, and I know this is going to sound cocky as hell, is seeing talent. And when you want to do something and, that if you're booking really strong talent, things happen. I mean, he has a chance, to do some stuff. He's trying to build his singles career and everything. More power to him. I just wanted to make sure that I replaced him with somebody, that was going to have the same kind of strong name behind them.
Yeah, and I believe you have, in which we're going to discuss the event going on tomorrow in just a moment. So talk about you mentioned working with the Blue Meanie in the past. Just tell us about like the development of the wrestling independent. Like where was that moment to where you decided that you were going to start a promotion?
So that kind of takes through a lot of my quote unquote career that I've had. So when I was in college, I think it was 2020 or 2020, I think, is when we started it. Me and my best friend, or me and one of my best friends, Ben Johnson, started this wrestling radio show called The Wrestling Independent.
Nice.
There was a prior show. This was like a community run radio station where everyone that applies can get, a show as long as they approve what it is,
Yeah.
There was an old show that was on it called Wrestling Radio. They kind of helped us with it, right? The time, and this is what I'm actually trying to replicate, the time between 2000 and 2005-ish in Philadelphia was such a magical time for independent wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I was literally in the back seat of watching it all. I became friends with a Reckless Youth, Mike Quackenbush, their other tag partner, Don Montoya. This was going to shows and seeing Mama and Papa Briscoe sneak the Briscoe brothers in under masks. And I remember going to shows where it was, the Briscoe brothers, Homicide, the Hit Squad. And, I remember specifically the Briscoes with their parents. I remember Rob Echoes at the time with his parents. I got to see Daniel Bryan when he first came out. I was literally the first person to put Alice in Danger on the radio.
Wow.
Because at the time we were running these college shows with a local promotion, United Wrestling Coalition. They're still around. And Steve Carino was one of their talents. And he had his 6-year-old son at the time, Colby, who wanted to do some wrestling matches. And he did a series of matches with Don Montoya. And that was back before anybody knew that Alice in Danger was a Carino, because she was trying to make it on her own and in her own name. But yeah, I mean, it was literally at the time. I remember going to the first shows of ROH. I remember I interviewed Zandig at Take One, and he insisted on standing next to a big loudspeaker yelling about how CZW was rising up from the ashes of ECW. And then, Cage of Death 4. I used to help out Blue Meanie, and then XBW came in and all this other stuff. And it was such a magical time for wrestling. And when I came back in 2001, I feel like Philadelphia's lost that feel. And I feel like awesome MLW runs here. There's Labor of Love Pro Wrestling, but they're doing a completely different thing. They're doing a lot smaller shows. You have High Tension and all this other stuff, but I feel like Philadelphians aren't as excited, and I know that, some people are going to see this and be like, oh, screw you. But Philadelphia is such an important town in wrestling history that it doesn't make sense that that's not here. And when I really started feeling that, I was like, man, I got to try to do what I can.
Do you think the legacy of ECW punishes the city of Philadelphia and like the legacy of wrestling here in the business? Like, although, like WWE has always ran here, I've, gone to WWE, since being on my dad's lap. So it's like, it's almost like typical, but like when ECW came out, it was its own unique thing, which ended up becoming something that pro wrestling has adapted today, as far as like the extreme, use of tables and, items. But do you feel like, because of ECW, it's like, it's hard to, not saying that companies has to duplicate ECW, but it's like there was so much of a moment with it. Like,
It was magical.
yeah, like are we like punished for, the good times that ECW brought to the city, or it's just that no one has really brought that level of wrestling back, to the city?
The city's had Chikara, the city's had Ring of Honor. I mean, trust me, in the early 2000s, that time period was like really fun, and like,
True.
thousands of people were going, to the arena and stuff. I think people are trying to duplicate, and not just there, but kind of across. There's people that are trying to duplicate all that stuff, but they're missing the point of what ECW represented, and they're missing the lessons that were taught during it, right?
Yeah.
Very famously, Steve Austin, and believe it or not, I'm going to be talking about some of this stuff at the show tomorrow.
Mhm.
Steve Austin found who Steve Austin was in ECW because of the way that he was able to do things. You had, everything that was amazing with Raven, and even look at the Blue Meanie and the things that he's done. He was just the goofy dancing guy, and he went on to have runs in WWE and all this other stuff, and now he's kind of Mr. Philadelphia around town.
That's a fact.
Like, that's what brought us Lance Storm, Rey Mysterio. And I think that what people are forgetting in some of it, and again, the other promotions in Philadelphia could be doing a completely different direction, and I don't ever want to sound like I'm ever disparaging them. I just think that all of us have separate visions. What I think everybody's missing, and I was at a seminar in the Monster Factory a couple months ago with Gabe Sapolsky. Gabe Sapolsky infamously started with Paul Heyman with ECW.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to give you guys the exact same advice that that Paul Heyman gave me. Only hire people that make you look good.
Mm.
And I feel like I have a very high bar for talent. And I think if you look at the show, you're going to notice that. Like, there's really nobody with holes in their games on the show.
Right.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely a great card. And so looking at the show tomorrow night, Constaters, it's not your typical location to think you're going to see wrestling. So, I'm literally down the street. I'm right across the street from Holy Family. So I'm literally down the block. So when I seen that announced, I'm like, whoa, like wrestling companies outside of maybe the Armory with House of Hardcore a couple of times, we don't get wrestling up in the Northeast. It feels like Philadelphia kind of falls in that lull where it's the ECW arena or bust with wrestling. And so how was that decision of picking a venue and maybe like not trying to fall into that lull of other companies? How did that transpire?
3 main reasons. One, you would be surprised how many venues are hesitant to run wrestling now in Philadelphia. Like, there's not many. The other venues that I could have gotten would have been a lot more expensive for the size of the show I was planning on putting on. Like, Franklin Hall said, okay. What's the other one that's over there? But like, yeah, like these big expensive places said, okay. But like everyone else kind of said no. And obviously, if people are running in steam fitters, I don't want to trounce on their stuff. So really part of it was necessity. The other part is, if you follow the migration of people in Philadelphia, you can see that they come out in very certain specific waves. You will notice tomorrow that a lot of people that are there are people that were originally raised on ECW and their kids. You have a lot of that in that audience. I feel like this is a completely underserved area. I think that there's a lot of potential here. They were we had to go through a lot of things. Like, at one point they were worried the ring was going to fall through the floor because of its weight. They thought it was like 10,000 pounds though. I was like, no. I'm like, it's not. Like, I mean, there was a lot of hoops we had to jump through, but Constotters is extremely anxious to see how this goes, and they've already told me someone else called them for an event and they said no because they really want us to keep running if it goes well. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm all for it.
it's an amazing place to go. I mean, I love Constotters. It's an institution in the Northeast.
Yeah, no, I mean some of their Oktoberfest and some of their summer events they have there, they shut down the blocks because it's just so crowded. So it definitely is a great institution, like you said. But I mean, definitely going to be an exciting event. I mean, I've seen some of the buzz on Twitter and stuff like that. I've seen like we got like some people from TWI coming and things like that.
I've got
There's
at
just
least 5 other promoters coming from other shows, and I feel like that doesn't typically happen on a show.
yes, that was gonna be my question to you. Like, I've seen all those people coming. Does that kind of put pressure on you, and then on top of the town also to kind of be like, we got? I mean, I know you're gonna hit it out of the park, but do you feel added pressure with all these higher name people coming to your show?
Not really, and that's because and it's not because of any cockiness, it's that I just have it planned out. Um, it's something I've wanted to do for so long that I look at it and I told everybody this. I told my wife this because she, trust me, had to sign off on this. And she's probably the person that's waiting for this to be over more than anybody else at this point. But I feel that I took Gabe's advice to heart with only hire people that make you look good. The crew that does 1CW is coming up and doing the ring and doing the entrance. They have an amazing setup. And the people that do everything are complete professionals. And I would trust my life with some of them. So they're doing the lighting, they're doing the ring. So I completely have trust in them. Papa Scott, who's doing my video. I mean, how could I ask for someone better than Papa Scott? Savannah Ray, Brian Murphy, 2 people that I absolutely love, are going to be doing commentary. And like I said, I think you can't find one person on that card that doesn't fit that I need someone to make me look good.
No, yeah, for sure, for sure. Like I said, me and Keem will be there tomorrow, and we're very excited to see the show and to see how it transpires. Because, listen, like I said, being local, I mean, you think South Philly, the hop, skip, and jump, but that's like 30 minutes away. So if we can get a promotion up here that can run steadily and have great shows, which you're putting together tomorrow, I'm ready for it. You know, I'm ready to be able to walk down the block and go watch wrestling.
Well, again, they said that they're really into me running more. And actually, what I would love to do is do an outdoor show there
I was just
sometime
gonna
in the
say
summer.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
cool.
awesome.
They have that whole big spot in the back. That'd be really cool to be able to do.
Hey, all goes well. You know, it's a big event coming in April
I'm not
2024.
touching that. I'm not touching that. You want to know what? Let everybody else kill themselves running events, because most people are going to get 60 people, and a handful of events are going to get 300 people or
Yeah,
400 people, and
yeah,
I don't even want to be a part of that. And
yeah.
again, part of my thing is, again, I don't want to do anything that has to do with anybody that's signed. I don't want to
Yeah.
tie my ship to the WWE. I wouldn't feel like I really did it myself.
No,
Hey,
I totally get it.
yeah, Hakeem, we were talking about that before. Like
Hmm.
any local promotion that, like you said, isn't coming for Mania week would have to run maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because most of the big super shows kind of do Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. And unfortunately, the local promotions are kind of going to get drowned out by these big like GCW and WrestleCon and stuff like that,
Yeah.
who can tie their hitch to the AEW or the Impact or the WWE guys. And like you said, you're trying to build something different. So I definitely respect that, and definitely respect you sticking to your morals. And you got a lot of these guys who just try to do money grabs, and you're sticking to trying to build something incredible. And it definitely is going to be an incredible show tomorrow.
I hope so. I told my wife I'm either going to fail spectacularly or I'm going to win spectacularly. There's going to be no in between.
No one's gonna be like the show's. They're gonna be like, "Wow, that show was what? What was that?" Or that show was incredible,
Yeah.
and I respect that.
Look, I'm afraid to ask when you are successful because we all know it's going to be a successful event. Are you brainstorming a future date, or is that something that you're like, you know what? Let me ride the wave of this right now, and we'll
I
we'll
would,
we'll revisit
if
the table.
if it's as successful as I hope it is, we'll be back with Constatter next week trying to figure out when another date was. Now, whether my wife tells me I need to take a little bit of a break, that's really on her. And I'm a teacher and she has a much better job than me, so I need to pay attention.
So we keep mentioning successful and things like that. In your eyes, for this show to be considered a success, what do you need to see transpire tomorrow night at your show?
I need one for everybody to the fans to show up. I've been told a lot that, pre-order versus walk-ups, and with the area walk-ups, I mean, this, Joe, walk-ups in this area could be 20 people. It could be 200 people.
Yeah.
Like it really is, so I want to see that. I have a count in mind that I hope I get to. And if I hit that, I'll be really happy.
Okay.
So that, and really for me, I want people to be able to have a moment in the show where that helps them fall back in love with wrestling again, or makes them really stand up and say, wow, I didn't realize that this was the kind of show I was going to, that it was going to be that good.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm actually excited for the show now. I was already excited, but you got me pumped up. Like I want it to be tomorrow already.
for sure. Like, it's a stat card. Looks about 12 matches on the card. So it's like, you're bound to have a favorite match or two or three or four, throughout the entire show.
I was told next time not to run 12 matches. So, but I told everybody I wanted to come out as hard swinging with this as I could. Like I know where my financials are with everything. So
no,
awesome.
yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a stacked, action-packed show. I can't wait for Hakeem. You got any last questions?
Nah, I think, Mike, you're truly a gem. And one, I want to personally thank you that I don't have to travel on a highway to get to a wrestling event tomorrow. Like, I'm, all good. But but thank you for bringing, professional wrestling back to the Northeast. I think this might be like the first show I've heard since the early 2000s, maybe. What was it?
Like House of Hardcore, I think, like at the Armory, right?
yeah, there was a House of Hardcore, I think, at some point. Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you when the last one was up here. So
yeah, no, but we thank you. But again, the Wrestling Independent, Mike Fresh has the event Woke Up This Morning, taking place Saturday, December 2nd at 7:00 p.m. Doors open at 6:30. If anyone's looking to purchase tickets, you can purchase tickets at www.simpletix.com.
for another hour and 21 minutes.
Yes, I just getting ready to say, Joey made me aware of that. So
real quick question on that. I didn't see a post anywhere, but just for fans that are watching, will prices change from now till then, or
you want to know what? I was thinking about it, but I really don't want to, because I want to be as inviting as possible. And I think the first show, if you're like, oh, you're getting a $5 penalty on it, like, probably not the best way to introduce yourself.
So the prices you see online, if you end up missing the 12 o'clock deadline, walk up, same price, which is very rare in wrestling. Like you said, they usually penalize you because promoters like to know the number of head counts before that show starts. But Mike's being a great guy for his first show and not going to be charging that penalty. So,
and I also know that the people at Constatters have seen the pricing. And if I know the crowd at Constatters that goes there like every week, they'd be really upset if I changed it on them.
No, for sure. And if I'm not mistaken, just for fans to try to entice them a little more. Open bar and stuff like that tomorrow also, correct?
Constadter's has an amazing bar with amazing food, and they have it all open. In fact, that's one of the reasons that they wanted me to run, is they're hoping people go out and buy all their food and drinks. So I'm going to be encouraging that throughout the show.
For sure,
Nice.
yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
Hakeem, don't go too crazy tomorrow night.
I'm
I know how
I'm not that bad.
these Northeast cops, I know a few of them, so don't worry about it.
Cool. I'm gonna just drop your name, Mike Fresh. You know him, right?
Those courtesy cards. Be like, here, don't I gave you this.
Exactly.
But
I'm
again, Mike,
gonna just had to send a message out to Mike. I'm like, Mike, yeah, you got the comp 2 tickets for Officer Bell, and
but we want to thank you again, Mike. We look forward to meeting you tomorrow in person at the show. It's going to be an incredible show. Again, fans, you got hour and 14 minutes, 15 minutes to the tickets pull from the site, but you can always get them tomorrow at the event. It's going to be an incredible show, so make sure you're there. Support Mike and his venture into promoting professional wrestling, and let's hope we can blow it up into the biggest show Northeast has seen.
yes, sir.
I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. And also, where can people find you? On social media, if like anyone's
Social media on Facebook, it's The Wrestling Independent. Everywhere else, it's Mike Fresh TWI.
Awesome. Sounds good. Again, Mike, we thank you for coming on to the Still Steps. As always, a guest of ours, become family. So if ever you need to, stop back, want to promote an event, you need to, pull a rant, feel free. The microphone is here for you.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. We thank you.
We'll definitely, as things progress, we'll definitely make sure to keep you guys in the loop.
Awesome. Get some rest, because it's going to be a crazy day for you tomorrow. Get some rest.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it, guys.
Definitely. Thank you. Mike Fresh, part of the Wrestling Independent, going down tomorrow, 7 p.m. over at Constadter, correct? Constadter? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, at Constadter at 9140 Academy Road, Northeast Philadelphia. So everyone, come on out to the event. Have a good time.
It's so accessible for fans, man. Like, if you're traveling 95, you've got the Academy exit right there, right at Frankfurt. You go straight across Frankfurt. It's literally right there on the corner. I mean, you can't miss it. And Mike's had great promotion up there for months now. So I'm really hoping that Northeast Philly comes out tomorrow and packs that place, because like Mike said, we haven't had that in so long up here, and it's time for it to happen. There's a whole untapped fan base up here that people don't always like to travel to South Philly, and have to find parking and have to deal with the 95 getting down there and stuff. So let's start blowing up Northeast Philly wrestling again.
Absolutely, man. Like it's been way too long since an event has been in the Northeast. So it'd be it's great to now have this event coming up, and looking forward to many more events coming up.
Real quick before we run our thing, I have one last thought on this, and then we'll run the next commercial. But think about this: if this show is a huge success, which I'm confident it is, and the concept looks like it's a viable wrestling venue going forward. Can you imagine the avenues it could open for other promotions? And Mike already said he's not touching Mania weekend.
Right.
Like, an outside company might want to come in Mania weekend and try to run that, now that Mike's kind of said he's not using it that week. Like this opens up so much possibilities for everything in the Northeast. So I'm hoping that it's a good night.
Oh yeah, no question. Like this definitely is the seed planter. So if it, when everything goes right, hey, look, that phone gonna be ringing for them. Well, that's more money for them. Hey, look,
could you imagine?
They need a
pro wrestling.
What'd you say?
We keep talking at the same time. I was saying, imagine pro wrestling on Oktoberfest. Like, that would be nuts.
Oh man, listen. You know what? We're gonna have to talk about that. That
cheese is too much there. He's like, outside beer and wrestling. He's like, sounds like paradise.
Like heaven. It's like, no. Must be real nice. Like, no.
I don't think I've ever been to an outside wrestling event. I have WrestleMania, like not an indie.
Right. No, I know what you mean.
Wrestling event. I haven't been to one, so I'd be excited to see that.
I think probably like the most unorthodox venue I've been to was at a bowling alley, and it was actually AWA at the bowling alley. Me and my brother Jess, we was there, and I'll never forget this because that was actually the first time I actually saw Jay Lethal. He was like a special enforcer during a match with CW Anderson.
Oh crap!
CW Anderson. I think Steve Carino. And I forgot who they were fighting, but Jay Lethal was like the special enforcer,
That's
like
a big card. For a
sitting
bowling
ringside.
alley.
Right. It was at the bowling alley. I used to be on what was that, Grand Avenue back in the day. You probably don't remember.
Thunderbird?
Yeah.
In the corner?
Yep. Yep. It was.
It's still there.
No, not that one. Dang, which one was it? I think it was Grand Avenue. I'm not sure. I might be saying the wrong street, but I know the bowling alley no longer exists. Like they already they already demolished that bad boy. But yeah, I was like, man, like it's amazing. Like, and seeing where Jay Lethal is now, it's like, man, you came a long way, my brother.
Blackwood Cheesemo.
Exactly. Ooh, yeah.
That was the best. Let's get to our
yeah, we got our next guest coming up. Yeah, so we got Justin Valencia, part of the X brand movement, coming up next. In the meantime, we will be right back.
All right, guys, let's talk about Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you got to call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Firm. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your rights. Again, that number is 610-565-0300. That's 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your right.
We are back, Still Steps, coming to you live on a beautiful Friday evening. Politic and Hot, alongside my guy, Mr. Joey Woods. And joining us right now, we got a special guest. He is the promoter of X Brand Wrestling. You might have seen him before promoting his last event, Nightmare on Glassboro Rd. We have no other than Mr. Justin Valencia. Mr. Justin, what is good? Welcome back to the Still Steps.
What's going on, Still Steps? How's everything going over there? You guys keeping warm?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Hence the hat and the hoodie. It's cold outside. holiday time, baby. It's cold outside.
Listen, this past weekend I was in North Carolina for that WrestleCade, and North Carolina cold is not Philadelphia cold. You know what I mean? Like it's cold, but it's nice. I got back to the city and I was like, "Holy crap, it's cold!" You know, like you could walk around in a t-shirt down there and it was cold, but it wasn't cold. So, for you, Philly.
You're like, "Welcome back." Philly was like, "Welcome back."
Yeah.
Right.
I saw. Not to get off topic, but I saw a meme that I walked outside and this bitch said, "What's up?" and it was a picture of Elsa.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
cool. I was like, this is November. Let's not get carried away here. But
I was gonna ask you, what was your favorite memory down there?
It was a wild experience overall. This was like not an experience that like happened. It was kind of organic. It was probably shooting the shit with Ron Simmons about Florida State football.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. His notion was it was a great ride. He knows that Florida State isn't going to get in with an injured quarterback, but it was a great run. But just overall, the experience was incredible. They got to rub elbows with a lot of people, for two and stuff like that. It was just a cool experience, but definitely something. It was once in a lifetime experience from the media side of it, you know.
Dude. So Justin, previously on Still Steps, you know, you was here to promote the Nightmare on Glassboro Rd event. Side note, which was definitely a phenomenal event. And you know, on behalf of Still Steps, we greatly appreciate you allowing us to be a special guest host of the event. Definitely has, you know, been something of a high of mine for the year. So just want to get your take, you know, just like overall, just you know, sitting back and looking at the success of the event, just like how, what are your thoughts overall as far as how the event was?
Overall, I'm glad everyone had a good time. Everyone, I haven't heard nothing too negative about the show. Everyone had a good time. I think the show overall went great. I think everyone that went there and paid for a ticket left happy. What did you guys think of the show?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah. Now I want to say, you said no one has too negative to say.
Yeah.
I thought the show was excellent. Like telling some of the people like about the names on the card and stuff like that. They were like genuinely shocked that it was only your second time really running a show, correct?
Oh yeah, second one.
Like the names that you got on that card and the way you were able to put it together, like from top to bottom, whoever had negative things to say at all, like just haters, you know what I mean? Because I think overall it was a very well run show. There was, not to my recollection, any issues, and it was your literally second time running it. You had some pretty big egos on that show, and it still ran smoothly. So I got to give you props, dude, because it was top to bottom, a hell of a show. It kept me entertained, and everyone I talked to, and I was actually with the Goomba last 2 weekends ago at MLW, and I told him this too. That Duckery match might have been one of my favorite matches I've ever gotten to experience, because the wrestling was great, and me and Hakeem talked to Goomba about this then. The wrestling was excellent, but at the same time, they weren't too serious with their stuff. You know what I mean? Like they had spots that made you crack up, but then the very next second they did a move where you're like, "Holy shit, they just landed that!" You know what I mean? Like top to bottom, that match just made you feel every single thing wrestling should make you feel, with the intense moves and the comedic aspect of it. Like the spot when he shaved his head, I was like, "There's no way he really shaved his head," and he sat up and there was that bald spot. I was like, that's one of the wildest thing I ever seen. Like, that match was absolutely insane, man.
No, it definitely was, and that's that was closing the chapter between Goomba and Biggie. They've been having a feud on and off from our first show to Find Yourself Wrestling up in Pompton Lakes. They were they've been going back and forth with going viral title. So I think it was a great way to close that chapter, and everyone loved it. With the ducks going everywhere, it had a nice. Had a nice touch. I think that was the first time ever, that many ducks were used.
Yeah, so being part of the Guinness Book of Records.
Yeah. I don't know if you knew this, but so Zeta, she had the guy there helping her with the signings off to the side, and so at one point when you had the ironing board and they slammed each other on the ironing board, one of the ducks flew off, landed on top of his bald head, and stuck to his head during the match. I was like, there's no way that happens again in a million years. And it literally stuck to his head. But that was pretty funny. Yeah, and the Goomba was telling us that they were trying to make that match like start from the exact same spot that the previous match to end. Yeah. What he was telling us was that previously the Goomba won a match where he was supposed to lose his hair, and Big E's mom, I believe, got involved and stopped it from happening.
Yeah.
So Goomba was determined to shave his head, and he shaved his head all right. So yeah, that was a wild moment for me. I don't think he really did it. And then when he sat up in that bald spot, I was like, this is nutty.
Yeah. When he told us the backstory about that, I told him, I said, that's genius, man, because y'all have something that's so locked in that it can be carried no matter where you go. Like that could be something that could be carried on into a major promotion if they, if they really wanted to. And then that would allow for the fan base to do their homework, like on them, and be like, oh snap, like this really been going on for this long. It's almost like it's funny, like when we were talking with Delmy about like, when we was talking about the whole Dragon Ball thing, it was like, well, there's more Dragon Ball, episodes, but they were overseas, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, I got to go that far back, and for them to carry on that type of feud, like that's awesome.
The chemistry them two have is awesome. Now, sometimes I'll sit back and watch the promos, and I'll be like, man, this is gold. This is great. I mean, I don't know if you guys followed the promos they did for Find Yourself Wrestling, but one of the angles they did, Goomba stole one of Biggie's ducks, and he was playing golf with him. Yeah, so I mean, it's gold. It's really good. Props to both of them. They always go all out.
Yeah. Well, and one more question for kick it back over to Joey. Actually, before I go there, as far as comment wise, like the performance from every talent that was there, like everyone gave max effort, and you can and it was felt, amongst the fans that were there. Like everyone was 100% invested into the it was art. And
Yeah,
I understand like how sacred of the ring is, and and being in the H2O center, and just having a facility to where you're able to to work on your performance. And I feel like those that cross through that door take are those that take it very serious. My question though, you had Christian Ross going up against Dirty Dango, which he
Dango, because he had Down for Glory the next day, and him and Ross tore it down too. And I mean, guys like that who have huge shows the next day, they don't normally take a booking. You know what I mean? So shout out to Dango and Ross for tearing it down too.
Right. Since that show, Christian Ross, his name has been quite a buzz, local. So like, how does it feel to see your champion, taking the phone calls of such, local independent promotions, and being able to to start working there, aside from being part of the X brand movement?
Oh, I'm very proud of him. Christian's a good friend of mine. I think he should be on TV. We've seen some people that were on the show that just got signed. I think he's. I think he'll be up there at some point. I think he deserves to be on there. I think one of the shows I just seen him more recently was Battlegrounds. They teamed him up with Joel Gertner, and I think really cool. Me and him grew up watching, Joel and the ECW movement. So him being his manager is really cool. He's back there in the Battlegrounds locker room, sitting with some huge names. Matt Cardona, Bully Ray. The list goes on and on. So I think that's pretty cool. Have him as our champion, and he's working at the arena month in and month out.
So it's funny you mentioned Battleground, because I actually had a chance to talk to Ross about this. So during the Battlegrounds event, Sandman came out to try to counter Ross, and I said, "Come on, Ross, you got to take at least one king shot from the Sandman. Like that's just like a rite of passage." He was like, "I'll break that shit." I was like, "Listen, no matter what it is, the rub from Sandman is something that anyone would take." You know what I mean? But yeah, shout out to Ross. He's killing. He got a big win last night on uncharted territory against Anthrax, who's been on a little bit of a winning streak. Who's also one of the guys who's been a regular on X brand. So shout out to all those guys who are just killing it right now.
So we have Anthrax. We have him working this Saturday. He's wrestling against a hardcore hillbilly from XPW. First time ever match. We're gonna have H2O against an H2O guy against XPW. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, XPW right now is killing it in the deathmatch scene right now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let me ask you, in terms of the last show, was there anything that maybe you've seen that you're like, okay, maybe we'll do differently going forward, or something you were like, wow, that worked great, I want to see these guys work again, or I want to see this angle continue? Anything coming out of that show that you look to continue or maybe switch up a little bit?
One of the things I definitely want to add to that I really didn't get a chance to do that I really want to start doing is a lot of backstage stuff. Like backstage interviews. Grew up watching WWF, so Mean Gene after the match, Mean Gene was back there ready to interview you. That's what I want to see for my product. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to do that. But I think the next shows, we have planned. We're definitely going to try to get some more backstage stuff. Even with the ECW shows, after like the last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes of the program.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, yep. You would have, everyone getting they're telling their story, getting their storyline off. That's what I want to incorporate in the shows to come.
I mean, how wasn't Steve Austin? Isn't that how he kind of became who he was because of those backstage ECW promos?
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Pretending to be Hogan or Bischoff. Those are classic.
random little clips. You know what I mean? They're gold. That they really like you brought up Austin. They really made Austin who he was.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
right.
sure.
Right. So before we get to your upcoming party, we do got another member of the X brand roster who was also part of the Nightmare on Glassboro Road event. We got one Fetz Lux coming up to the stage. What up, Fetz? What's going on, man?
How is
Still
everybody
steps.
tonight?
Everybody's
Cold.
good, man. And
Cold.
cold.
I want to talk about the shove heard around the world when Anthrax put his hands on me. Why?
Yeah, what was the deal
Well-
with that? I saw that from afar.
So I mean, between me and you, Anthrax was kind of throwing some digs in there a couple of times, laughing at you when you said you were a life coach and stuff, and saying, "This dude ain't no life coach." Or maybe he thinks you're a phony.
Maybe you never know what's next with being him.
I mean, so if knowing the way how Anthrax get down, if y'all see each other again, are you gonna provide them with a chair shot?
I wish I could. Never say never.
I mean, there were some close. So Fett, there were some close calls in that match, and I was a little surprised that Fett didn't inject himself into the match, maybe with a distraction of the ref, or helping Anthrax by sliding a weapon in the ring. Going forward, if Anthrax agrees to have you as his life coach again, because we've seen Anthrax isn't too keen on you, will you do whatever it takes to make sure that Anthrax gets the win?
Yes, I will. Whatever means necessary.
Does that include taking a light tube?
No. Maybe a chair shot to the back.
But light tube is where we draw the line.
Yeah.
What about a foot of barbed wire? So
Listen, I think I'd rather take a tube than a barbed wire. That stuff gets in you and
It blinds you because
the real barbed wire, not that stuff we see in like the feds and stuff like that, like the real barbed wire that X brand uses and stuff like that. That stuff is like tape once it touches your skin, it just sinks its teeth in and that's not coming off.
Yeah, definitely walking in the back. Yeah, you had to walk a certain way. Like, watch it. Don't want to step on that. So
yeah.
But Fetz, what was your overall thoughts on Nightmare Glassboro Road? The event overall. You know what I mean? Once you finished your match, what did you feel about the event?
Great. I loved the main event. Hellaware and Tremont put on a classic.
Yeah.
And how I was at one point in the match was like, how is Hellaware going to finish this match? Because he was leaking buckets, man.
He wasn't feeling good to begin a match. You probably know that, Justin. He wasn't feeling good the day of the show because he had jet lag coming in from where he's at now in Vegas. Getting there at 6 o'clock in the morning, he flew all night just to make it.
He literally got there at 6 a.m. and he was just waiting for till noon.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What'd you guys think of the explosion?
Oh, that was wild too. I didn't expect it at first.
No, and I think I said to you, Just, I said, listen, considering what we've seen in the past from major promotions, it was impressive because like we seen like AEW couldn't even pull it off, and they're a almost $1 billion company, and you guys killed it. You know what I mean? Like that was pretty impressive, and I wasn't expecting either because I was helping with setting up that match, like trying to ask them what weapons they wanted and stuff for the match, and they were like, "All we have is the exploding board," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, I remember that almost getting it set off, and I was carrying it in.
Yeah,
They
because I was
told
like, "What did you say?" He was like, "Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that, guys. I'm not being responsible. Like, if I drop it or something, messing that spot up." I was like, "No."
So leave it on me and the guy Mystique.
It's all for you guys because I was not doing that. I think I actually messed up and put some stuff in the ring that they weren't even planning on using. They're like, "It's all right, we'll make it work." But yeah, that was impressive, man. That was a really good spot.
The first time ever explosives were used in that building too. So I mean, that was pretty
So
proud.
let me ask you about
Setting the
that.
bars.
Was that something you had to get approved by Tremont to do there?
Oh
Or
yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
I didn't think they were going to pull it off because like up a week. It was like they were cutting it pretty close. So the week of the event, they got the green light that it was going to happen, but he was waiting on parts. One of the guys had to drive like 2 states over to get all the parts to build that. So it was a lot of work. You know, props to both them guys. You know, they went all out, but I think it paid off. The whole match was, you know, watching that match, the crowd was hot the whole match.
let's jump into it. To this upcoming weekend, we got a huge party coming up in Virginia. You know, it's going to be an incredible experience. If anyone's interested in attending this party, reach out to Justin. He can definitely hook you up with the details about that. But what moment of this party or what matchup from this upcoming party are you most excited for this upcoming Saturday?
You know, we're running it back. We got Duckery 2.0. We got all the props with the Ducks. I posted some previews. We got a lot more coming. Duckery 2.0, the going viral titles getting defended. Biggie Sanchez, the father Dejan. It's gonna be crazy. Then you got, of course, XBW, H2O, Hardcore Hillbilly taking on Anthrax. You got so many matches. You know, it's hard to pick one, but those are the two I'm really going to sit back and be like, wow, this is really happening here in Virginia.
So let me ask about those Duckeries. Are we going to
wait? How come nobody's talking about the Goomba wrestling?
The Goomba will be there. I don't know.
Nobody's talking about it. He wants to fight.
The Goomba will be there for the ladies, I believe.
Yeah.
Not my mom this time. Not my mother.
Your mothers. Yep.
I just saw his role on IG a couple of hours ago. He talking about, you know, the ladies gobbling the turkey and all of that. Pause.
He's a real awesome dude.
Shout out to the Goomba.
I love his elf on the shelf when he's doing like the Goomba doing Zumba and all this other stuff. Like that's great. That the Goomba knows how to market himself. I think the other day did a promo where he like put himself over Michael Jordan in a promo and was like dunking the ball or something. Like had me dying, man. But getting back to the Duckery match that's going to be happening this weekend, are we going to top the Guinness Book of World Record from Nightmare on Glassboro Road, or is nothing ever going to top that in terms of the amount of ducks being used?
I'm not gonna spoil it for everyone there. I guess the people there are gonna have to wait and see, But I mean, there's gonna be some crazy surprises, crazy surprises that I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull this off, but let's roll with it,
Sounds good.
I don't know why I just imagine like a huge like prop duck at the party. that somehow is going to be involved in the party, but
and you don't forget Chris Kringle will be in attendance.
Oh, nice.
At the event. It's a party.
But so I mean, we've been hyping up Nightmare on Glassboro Road for weeks now. We've been talking about how incredible it's been. For fans who may want to watch it and get their hands on it, you want to talk a little bit about where that is in terms of how they can watch it going forward and where they'll be able to watch it at.
So we got two versions of the event out. We have a DVD Violence. If you go on their website, I think it's dvdviolence.com.
Yep.
They have a DVD out. And then if you want to hit up Perry Wise has another version of the event out. I believe like his version has a Easter egg, like a hidden match that one of our XBW guys did a few nights before in an empty arena match. So definitely check that out. I don't want to spoil it. You know, I mean, it's a good one. I watched it. I was like, wow. I don't know how they pulled it off, but yeah, either hit up Perry Wise or DVD Violence, Trevor Christ. Those are the two versions that are out there for the people, for the fans to watch. And it's crazy because a lot of people are like, why can't we stream it? Why can't we stream it? So I grew up, as I previously said, a Combat Zone wrestling fan. So I would always be big on, going to the events live and then waiting a little to get the actual DVD,
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do for the first couple shows. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll try to get a streaming deal somewhere. But that's where we're at with that.
Sounds good. No, I definitely get what you're saying there. It kind of incentivizes the fans to come to the event if they want to see it. Get your ass to the show, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for sure. Because even me personally, sometimes I'll be debating if I should go to the show, or I'll be like, I have IWTV, I can just watch it here.
Yeah.
That way, if I really want to if someone really wants to get to the show, they're gonna be there rather than sit at home and watch it.
But I'll tell you what, there's nothing tops being at the show. Like there's a lot of CDW shows I went back in the day where like being live, it was like with the crowd and stuff. Like some of the spots were like mind blowing. You know what I mean? Like when you watch it back on TV, like later that night through streaming or whatever, it didn't hit the same. You know what I mean? Like watching it live in person kind of hits different than watching it on TV. You know what I mean? Like that's just me personally. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, watching at No Holds Bar 52
watching it
over
live.
this past weekend, like watching it, with the commentary is totally different from actually seeing it live, especially with everything that went on during that event. It's like
Back in the October show was Pinky's first ever wrestling show that she went to.
Yeah. Shout out to Creepy Pinky as well. I mean, very, very nice lady.
Sure. So, question: Saturday we have huge party again. If you're interested in the Virginia area, hit up Justin. He can definitely give you the details. What do we have looking forward to going into 2024 for X Brand Wrestling? Is this something we can expect to see once a year, every so many months? If you have your way and everything goes smoothly, how often do you want to run X Brand Wrestling, and when can we expect to see the next X Brand show?
Well, we got the Virginia show coming, the Virginia party coming up. After that, I'm still in, it's in the works. We want to run WrestleMania weekend one way or another. I think we are going to run, whether it be a professional wrestling show like Nightmare On Glassboro Rd, or it'll be a party. But I think we got something lined up. Either way, we want the fans to come out, have a good time, because that's what the time you go in there, we want you to forget about your problems, have a good time, party with us, enjoy the fuckery. So that's one thing we definitely want. We want that WrestleMania party, but we also want to hit new markets. We're in talks of hitting different states that we never touched before. So that's something I'm working on, and hopefully we could expand and reach new markets. And I do want to say we are trying to book a deathmatch tournament. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know if I'm ready to run one this year, because I don't want to run something that's not something that I would be proud of. But I do eventually want to run a deathmatch tournament at some point, maybe after a couple shows.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. With the like a arrival of Dango, being part of the previous X brand show. Is there any other like major promotion talent that you have an eye on that you would like to open your doors to, or is that too much of a secret that you might got something going, or any conversations of late?
Well, one, I do want to have Ross defend the title against a big lucha talent. I don't want to say no names, but I have worked with him before, so I mean, I that's something we've been talking, and maybe you could make it work.
Okay,
but definitely Ross against like a big lucha name out there.
Nice.
Something I want to see. Our next our return to Jersey, I'm sure there'll be a couple names you're going to be like, wow, where did he get them? Or where did he get that on?
Hell, Battleground just did it last month when they had Hoovertu.
Hoovertu, yeah, I was going to mention him too. Like, Hoovertu, like that'd be a nice one. Air Hoovy.
One last time, like psychosis.
Oh, for sure. Hellaware was someone I brought back from the death matches. You know what I mean? He hasn't wrestled in the area for like, I think it was 13 years. He came back for a first show back in 2022. So that was like something like, I mean, I popped for it because you haven't heard of him. You haven't even thought about him for years. And then he's like, oh crap, Hellaware's on here.
Right.
A lot of the fans in attendance were popping for him. Him and, believe it or not, Hardcore got two of the biggest ovations of the entire night. Which was shocking to me when you have like Jordan Oliver and Madman Pondo and Dango and Tremont and all these huge names in these scenes on your card. And, like you said, Hellware and Hardcore had the hugest pop.
Oh, for sure. I think that was Hardcore's first time wrestling in that venue. Show Center.
So it's funny I mentioned Hardcore because they kind of left that a little open-ended, them two. Is that something that we can see again in the future? Pondo and Hardcore kind of
oh yeah, absolutely
finishing that match.
Absolutely. Have some unfinished business, and I'm sure you'll see them down the road go at it again. Maybe with a different stipulation.
Sounds good.
But fellas, we greatly appreciate having y'all on the Still Steps this evening. Again, Silent Night Party coming up this Saturday, December 2nd at 7:30 p.m. To those who are interested in the party, feel free to hit Justin up on his social media platforms. And Justin, where can anyone find you in case they're interested in attending this event?
I'm usually the best place to find me is on Facebook. Just hit me up on Facebook, Justin Valencia. My URL is I Hate Justin Valencia. X Brand Wrestling social media sites. Hit me up on Facebook. We do have an Instagram. You can hit me up there. It's pretty much only two.
Gotcha. Cool. Sounds good. Well,
we still have a Twitter account.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the Twitter handle? Is it X Brand Wrestling on straight out?
No wrestling because somehow
wrestling?
that was taken. I don't know how, but X Brand Wrestle.
What is it again?
X Brand Wrestle. It's been a little bit since we posted, but yeah, X Brand Wrestling was somehow taken, but X Brand Wrestle wasn't. So
it's odd.
It's weird. Listen, today I signed up for Twitch, and Wood JP 22 was taken, but I could do Wood JP 3.
Oh,
I was like, gosh. What?
Like how?
Yeah.
Like who in the world out here have it? Now look, now Justin, see somebody going to see your X Brand gonna be like, hey, you want to buy this Twitter handle?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Listen,
watching.
Off air, I'll talk about a story, but yeah, it's everyone again. Saturday night, 7:30, Virginia. If you're in the Virginia area, make sure you hit Justin up. It's going to be a great party. And then again in 2024, keep an eye out because X Brand's looking to explode and bigger and better things in the future, right? So maybe a deathmatch tournament, who knows? But keep an eye out.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks again. Thank you for hosting my show. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you.
Likewise, we greatly appreciate having y'all on. And of course, Still Steps, X Brand, we're like a family. So therefore, whenever you need the platform, feel free to let us know. We bring you guys on.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you.
Oh, not a problem. Greatly appreciated. That was Justin Valencia, Fetz Luck, part of the X Brand Wrestling movement. We got another topic of discussion coming up, but before we do, we will be right back.
All right, guys, it's time to talk about Sherry's Tickets. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. Do not pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. That's 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, do not overpay and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. Save 10% using the promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. You'll thank us later. Sherry'sTickets.com.
We are back. Still Steps, Power Pod, Edge of Philly Sports, Politic and Hawk, alongside my guy, Mr. Joey Woods. Mr. Myofic Chris Wilson, unfortunately won't be joining us this evening. I had a personal matter to attend, praying everything goes well with him. But Joey, we back at it again. Another week of pro wrestling. A couple of notes coming off of this evening. One, Randy Orton was invited to SmackDown, and Nick Aldis offered him the opportunity to sign with SmackDown. And then we had Adam Pearce there. Pretty much it was almost like a bidding war between the two, attempting to lure Randy Orton over to their respective brands. But turns out, we had the arrival of one Paul Heyman as well as Solo, and pretty much, looking like Orton, he decided to go with SmackDown, signing the contract, and he's going after the bloodline, trying to finish what occurred prior to his injury. So hold on, he got you on mute. Hold on, you still on mute, Joey.
And their top stars.
There you go. We got you. Hold on, run it back like the last 7 seconds you were talking.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, perfect. So even given, subtract the bloodline from it, because obviously this Randy Orton bloodline storyline sells itself. Look at Raw and the top stars at the top of the card versus SmackDown stars at the top of the card. And I mean, it's a huge difference in terms of star power that Raw is able to bring versus SmackDown.
Right.
Which in years past, it felt like it was opposite, where Raw was lacking and SmackDown was superior. But over the past couple of months, Raw's been getting all the stars. You got Jay up top, you got Seth, you got Owens, you got Sane, you got Gunther, you got Rollins, you got all these you got McIntyre, now Punk, wherever he ends up. You got these huge stars. You look at SmackDown, they got the Bloodline.
Yeah.
They got LA Knight. Who else do they really have at the top of the card?
Yeah.
SmackDown. Am I missing anyone with SmackDown?
Not really. There is a level of void, as far as top tier talent.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. It does make sense to put Randy on that card. And then obviously the Bloodline being on that card, it just allows him to continue that storyline. So I agree with that. Here's my only wondering, and I don't know how you feel about this. We've seen Randy and Roman's feud. I don't need to see Randy go after Roman again. I'd be happy with him trying to pick off the Bloodline just because he's tired of the Bloodline and not needing that title. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let him go after Solo, let him go after Jimmy, and he can even go attack Roman, but it doesn't need to be for the belt at this point.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be some long-term story building going with this feud. And it's going to look like Orton's going to go after each member of the bloodline one by one up until it gets to the point where he'll take on a Roman. I mean, if I had to guess when that match will probably take place, that probably wouldn't take place to maybe like next year's SummerSlam. Like, as far as Roman and Randy Orton, if it gets to that point, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe WWE decide to go left and allow Roman to lose at WrestleMania, which a lot of people are mixed feelings on that, but maybe that'll be the point to where Orton calls Roman for once, and then that could continue that storyline. That way, it still keeps Orton away from going on some level of a title run, and kind of protect him to maybe get the title run in the future.
Yeah. No, I don't know how you feel about that. In this current age of Orton and the years we've seen him and stuff,
Right.
I think Orton's an attraction in itself. I don't know if you need a belt attached to him, like a
Sure.
main title belt. Like maybe a U.S. title or something to try to help project it into the upper echelons. But I don't know if I really need to see Orton with the World Heavyweight or WWE title at this point in his career.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was listening to a little bit of the on the Ring of Wrestling podcast with our guy Brian Waters, and they were discussing Brock Lesnar being like an attraction wrestler. But the question was, could Drew McIntyre actually be an attraction wrestler?
Mhm.
And I wrote back to I made a comment. I didn't get a response back on it, but my comment was Drew has the potential to be an attraction wrestler. However, I think Brock, he definitely fits the bill of an attraction wrestler. One, because of his resume, as far as the his history of who he's fought, and so he's kind of developed his status. With WWE, and also there's the level of that mixed martial arts background that kind
And
of
that's what it is with Brock. It's the mixed martial arts background.
yeah. So it's like he can get he can get that attraction bill, and not to go left on Orton with the McIntyre talk, because I do want to discuss Drew McIntyre. We're going to talk about him even more momentarily, but as far as Orton, he definitely can have that type of schedule, as far as you come in, for this particular event, hop out. And I think it benefits him now, because the way Roman's schedule currently is, if he does decide to be an attraction, like he's on that chase. So
Yeah, but even so, like even if because having Orton there now gives them that main event guy without needing Roman there with the belts,
yeah,
because Orton's such a big name at this point in his career that you care about Randy's storylines without caring about a belt. So Roman can be off holding the titles hostage on his vacation and stuff like that, while Randy's holding down the main event scene, and never once do fans question, well, what about the title? Because you have Randy there kind of filling that void, which I think is perfect for the brand, and it allows you to extend Roman's title reign for as ever possible you want it to be, honestly.
right. No,
So I think
agree.
WWE is going to throw a swerve at everyone in terms of the way this Mania is going to be booked and the way this Mania turns out. With the return of Punk, I'm not so sure it's going to end up being Cody Roman again.
Hmm.
And I think
I don't think it will.
I truly think that Gunther wins the Royal Rumble, and
Really?
Gunther challenges either Seth or Roman for the title. I just think at this point in time, you're kind of running in place with him with the why did I lose I'm losing my thought here. What belt does he have again?
The Intercontinental title.
Intercontinental. I think he's running a place with Intercontinental. I said this last week, I think you're in a spot now where the only people that can beat him is main card guys, like main event guys. But at the same time, it would be a demotion for Jay or Cody or Seth or someone like that to hold that title at this point in their time. You know what I mean? Because of where
Yeah.
they are in the scene. So I don't know what they're gonna do there, but we'll see. If you have Gunther win the Royal Rumble and then he drops the belt, then I don't know if it matters. You know what I mean? Like he's still the Royal Rumble winner. It doesn't matter about his Intercontinental belt at that point. So I don't know how they play that, but I think they're kind of gearing us up for that. I know I went left here, but
No, that's cool.
it
We
just
always
goes
go way left.
it goes hand in hand with Drew in his story, because I think he's one of those few tweeners where he could still win the Intercontinental belt and it would still be believable.
Right.
You know, because he's not quite main event, which he should be. But WWE has him positioned in that point where he is that main event guy. But you would believe him versus Gunther that Drew McIntyre could beat Gunther.
Right. You know, and we talked about this before as far as like Gunther possibly winning the Royal Rumble. I'm definitely all for it. However, and you know, kind of goes with, you know, this next topic of discussion. And you actually pointed this out to me, you know, not long ago, but Mr. McIntyre, come to the stage, please. We need to talk.
Yeah.
So, you know, this poster was released earlier today of, you know, the upcoming Royal Rumble. As you know, everyone can see a host of talent on there. Even one Logan Paul on, you know, made the poster. But one other particular talent did not make the poster. One frustrated Drew McIntyre, you know, sending out
all the faces on here.
Yeah, putting out this encrypted tweet talking about, are you starting to understand my frustrations now? Like, we seen him storm out of the pay-per-view, you know, a couple of weeks ago, Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So now, you know, we get this tweet about him, you know, him expressing his frustrations. What's wrong with Drew McIntyre, Joey? That's my question.
Well, I think first goes look at let's pull back 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at his 3-year run here in WWE. He was red hot, right? Red hot.
On fire.
He gets booked in the main event scene finally. He gets a title opportunity. COVID hits. He gets his opportunity to fight for the belt, and he wins the belt. No fans in the arena, you know.
No fan.
He carries the company for a little bit while there's no Roman and stuff
Pause.
like that.
He didn't even get the Thunderdome fans when he won the title.
He didn't, because it wasn't even Thunderdome yet. It was just
Right.
it was just NXT at
Right.
that point. So he carries the company for a little bit there. Roman comes back. He's then face again and stuff like that. He never got his flowers during that run, you know. Then we get fans back. He still never got that run in front of the fans. Then he kind of disappears for a little bit, comes back, has a good run with Gunther. Then we lose him again. So realistically, whether this is a work or this is real, I don't know. But I understand that frustration, because it just, to me, this man has reinvented himself time and time again. Heel, face, whatever he may be, and he never got that chance to succeed in front of the crowd, and I think that pisses him off a little bit.
Yeah. You know, for those who may not know, Drew McIntyre is, you know, coming up on a contract expiration. I believe it's at January 2024, correct? My hot take, I think he's already signed. And I think that he signed, and they're in the process to run a storyline of him, you know, being bitter, expressing his frustrations on social media, and like, we're just going to get this agitated superstar moving forward, you know, talking about how he's not getting, you know, his way after everything he's done for the company. I think this is something that we're going to see. Having said that, I know you said Gunther, you know, possibly winning the Royal Rumble.
I just checked the odds, Hawk. Number one at plus 200, 30% possibility is Gunther.
Yeah.
Number 2, and this is a little shocking, 22% odds, is CM Punk. Number 3 with 11% odds is The Rock. And number 4 is Cody.
That means hot take Gunther's. I mean not Gunther. Drew McIntyre is winning the Royal Rumble.
I don't like that.
Yep.
Think about this. So Drew McIntyre wins the Rumble, right? Champions stay the same. Are you truly excited by a main event of Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for WrestleMania 40?
Not really. I mean, it doesn't scream unless McIntyre loses at Mania and Priest cashes in and takes the title.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility, and that's exciting for the fans. But
Yeah,
to be able to sell it up to that point, to get the
right.
fans to tune in. I don't know if, and this is no knock on Drew, but with all the incredible possibilities that we currently have in the WWE, I don't know if Drew and Seth or Drew and Roman sell. I love Drew. I think he's an incredible talent wrestler. With the way the WWE's booked him in the past, I don't know if that sells the way you need to for
Right.
the fans to even care about that cash in at the end.
Yeah. I mean that's a good point. But see, this is where McIntyre, like he you know what I mean, he gotta do what he has to do to get over with the fans. Like
Now,
this would be his time. Like,
yeah, now
you
this
know,
throws a wrench in it if they do the Psycho Drew, where he's gonna slowly creep into the heel Drew that we've seen in the past.
yeah,
If that Drew comes back where he's just wrecking people, I might say, okay, I'm excited for it. But I think I think Drew fights Seth at the Royal Rumble. That's the next pay-per-view, right?
yeah.
And with the way Drew attacked him last week and stuff like that, I think we could see Drew and Seth at the Rumble.
That's true. You know, they got plenty of time to, to sell it, but you know what I mean, before WrestleMania. But just in case, if it ain't Gunther, this might be my dark horse in a race, especially if he play his cards right with building his storyline now, as you know what I mean, along with including social media to to be a part of it. Like that's where it's key. That's where majority of the fan base is outside of those who actually attend the show.
And that's the biggest thing, is if Drew can become like a huge social media presence where he's voicing his frustration, you kind of, because fans love to be played. You know what I mean? Fans love to be played. So if you can play us and have us guessing if this is real or not, that's the biggest thing.
Right. I actually got a second fantasy booking on this if this were to go left. But this is, totally outside
fantasy booking
of
for
for Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre, what is that?
Yeah. It kind of would take, the Austin McMahon approach, but in this case, if he, starts wreaking havoc, across the roster, like in the locker rooms, I could see Adam Pearce somehow like stepping up, trying to not necessarily control him, but try to get him to stop, to stop the madness, and then it get to the point where he just destroys Adam Pearce, and that might actually turn into a fight somewhere down the road.
Well, people seem to forget that
he's a wrestler.
Adam Pearce was a good wrestler at one point in time before he was signed to WWE. So I mean, that would be cool. I think WWE have to do a lot of selling to show that Pearce was at one point a wrestler,
right?
For the fans who don't know him.
Now WWE can cook a video package up in 8 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see. They right now, I don't know if you feel about this, but with Punk back and Cody there and Jay kind of keeps on leveling up in terms of getting over with the fans now with this new Yeet thing and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
he's constantly reinventing himself. You got Roman coming back soon. Solo keeps kind of stepping up his game. I almost feel like WWE's in a situation where they have too many stars.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible, but you got all these guys here where it's like what do you do here? You know what I mean? Like how do you book them in storylines that doesn't kill them completely, but also gives them time to like grow? You know, like
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, they're responsible of, trying to, keep these ratings up, but then, you got this level of top tier talent back. Like, how does this, help the mid tier cards? How much time would they continue to receive on television? But I think the best thing about the Attitude Era was the fact that even though you had that top tier talent, like the mid card talent, during the shows meant just as much as the top tier talents who would either open the show or close the show. So,
Yeah. If I had my way, bro, if I had my way, like if I'm booking as like not a promoter who's like looking for the best storyline, just like I'm a billionaire and I'm booking the show I want it because this is what I want.
right.
I want to see two names win the Rumble. I love to see LA Knight win the Rumble because I think Philly would explode. He wins the title in the main event of WrestleMania.
Right.
I think it would absolutely explode, and he's proven time and time again that he's a big enough name to where he can carry the company for a couple months.
Right.
I think it would give you enough time. Just say he challenges Roman and he beats Roman. It gives you enough time to reinvent Roman, and then when Roman's ready to come back as a face, you just turn LA Knight heel.
Yeah.
And LA Knight's capable of doing it to the point where LA Knight's heel, Roman's face, and boom. Another name that I would love to see is, and I think I forgot it now. I literally forgot it that fast. Oh, Jay. I would love to see Jay has completely stripped the Uso tag team name, which is nothing to scoff at. Like
Right.
the Usos were one of the best tag teams ever.
Yeah. He got that. I don't want to. Yeah. Okay. He got that Booker T run right now. It's almost like Booker T separating from Harlem Heat. Not saying that Jimmy
The only
Stevie Ray
remaining
right
thing
now, but
needs the belt. The only difference is not they need to give Jay the belt.
Right.
Like here's the thing. Jay is hot right now because of that bloodline storyline, and because he stood up for himself and he stood up to Roman and he stood up to his brother. And there's only so long the fans are going to keep gravitating towards him until they're like, well, you're not doing anything with them, and they lose interest. And that's what I'm fearful right now about with LA Knight. You keep putting him in these bullshit storylines. Fans are going to lose interest. You got to put them in storylines that mean something, so that that the crowd affair doesn't die down.
Right. Question: would it be best that, as far as like, you know what? No, this is a hypocritical question. I was getting ready to mention something as far as like with the US title, and we stressed how much he don't need any title under the heavyweight title. It would almost be pointless, you know what I mean, towards the build up. But I don't know. Like, it's almost as if Raw is missing a title now. Like, maybe it'll be a different story if the IC title was over at Raw at the moment. You'd be able to, to have Jay go up against a Gunther. That would be a respected, defeat, for Gunther.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I feel like Jay's in a weird predicament here, where if you're not giving him the U.S. title, not the U.S. title, the WWE Championship,
right?
Just put him in storylines with top name wrestlers.
Yeah,
I just don't think that we've seen it with the tag titles when they put him and Cody together. And on the tag titles, it kind of like it felt a little stale.
Yeah.
It felt like it was emotional a little bit. Like there was that initial shock factor where it was like, holy shit, they gave them the belts. But then after a while, you felt like, well, this doesn't feel right. It just feels like Jay is losing all the steam that he built up with that bloodline storyline. Now that he's kind of tied down with the tag titles, and then you saw that they dropped it 2 weeks later. So for me personally, if we're not going to put him in the heavyweight title picture, which looks like they might be, I think he's fighting this Monday for the title. Actually,
You know what? I believe you're correct.
it's a triple threat.
Right. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to look it up. But I think you're correct.
Keep an eye on Damian for that.
Yeah.
When do we have a random WWE title match on Raw?
I mean the
only
last
a week with only a week booking.
Right. The last random cash in they did was with Theory. And he just cashed out of nowhere on it was like the most random Monday Night Raw.
I'm talking about when was the last time we had like a WWE Championship match on Raw with only 1 week of promotion?
It's not often. Not that often.
Yeah.
Especially like for a triple threat. Like that's pretty big. It's,
because here's the thing. Here's what I'm wondering. I don't know if you agree with this, but they wanted to put Punk in the title picture, and this Rollins stuff isn't fake, and Rollins genuinely hates Punk, and he's flat out refusing to be in any storyline with Punk. You're kind of forced to remove the belt from him.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's what we're going to see here on Monday night is they want Punk to be in that main event title picture and the Deuce to the guy get the belt off Rollins.
See, in a way that would be messed up because you're kind of catering to Punk. Is
it catering to Punk though? Because if Punk's able to say, I'm able to be a big boy, which he hasn't in the past, but able to say I'll be a big boy and play nicely with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins is the one saying no. Is that catering or is that Seth Rollins saying I'm taking my ball and going home?
Being selfish. I feel like it's a mix of
At the
both.
end of the day, we have to remember. I love wrestling. I love professional wrestling. It's scripted, guys.
Still real to you, damn it.
It's scripted wrestling, and unfortunately, whoever that booker says is going over at that time is going over at that time. You know what I mean? So check your egos at the door. And I think it happened in AEW a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the luchadors flat out refused to lose clean in a match, and they pulled the match. Like,
That's
guys,
crazy.
it doesn't mean anything to your reputation. Like, everyone behind this, everyone knows that these matches are predetermined.
I think it's all about I think it's all about who's getting the pin. Like if it's a match that don't really make sense as far as like the nature of the talent, then I think there's also depending on their years of the business, there might be a valid point for them to think the way that they're thinking. Especially if it's something random and they're not getting time at all. You know what I mean?
But if you're a signed talent who's getting guaranteed money, you're not getting money to show, you're not getting money to win, you're getting money guaranteed.
Yeah, but if it's a you're dropping a pin to somebody who's typically not on television every week, I might be a little.
Yeah, but we talked about it earlier in the show. Dude, we talked about earlier in the show. We had with Razor and 1-2-3. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, even those talent that aren't typically on the show, they have to get to a point where something catapults their career, and maybe that pin gets them to that point. You know, sometimes these wrestlers have to, trust the bookers a little bit to see out the plan. You know, and like.
But I think that was all planned because they were all cool.
No, I agree with you. What I'm saying is that catapulted his career.
Right. No, definitely.
Like sometimes these wrestlers who are up and coming need that established star to allow them to pin them and make them look weak to catapult their career into the next level. I mean, but Owens.
Yeah, go ahead.
Owens was a star in the Indies, but he really wasn't too well known in WWE. And then Cena let him beat him, and boom, he's instantly a star.
Right. But I think, Cena knew that that Owens was part of the next era that was going to take that
Yeah.
step. And Cena was was already 1 foot out the door anyway into the movie world. So, but again, like everybody still got to have to play their part. But taking it back to Punk and Rollins, I think they're two 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 peas in the same pot. Like
Yeah.
they're practically one and the same. Just carry the personalities a bit different. But I mean, it does sound, it would be selfish of Rollins to not want to work with him. But again,
I don't know. This is all just speculation. I mean, the match on Monday just seems very random to me.
Right. No, I got you. No,
And WWE doesn't always. WWE's not AEW where they just have random title matches.
right. No, that's true. Quick random. Somebody probably gonna be in here right now like, yo, what happened to the Drew McIntyre talk? Like
We talked about
we
him
already
enough.
talked about him.
Let's jump into the stacked card on Thursday night because unfortunately it'll happen before we're back on the air.
Yeah, and technically it should have been here in Philly on a nice Saturday. But just saying.
So I had the chance to speak with someone from MLW and ask, what's the deal with Saturday night? I mean, Thursday night. MLW is always Saturday night. What's the deal with this?
Right.
So what I was told was Melrose Ballroom is a nightclub. To run a nightclub in New York City on a Saturday night is astronomical because you're asking them to give up a payday of all those paying customers in a nightclub in New York City on a Saturday night during Christmas season. Like there's a lot working there against you to be able to get a good, reasonable price to be able to run.
Right.
So you got to run Thursday night in New York City. Not the best time for the working man be able to get to an MLW show in the heart of New York City at 7 o'clock on a Thursday night. But if you're like us and you can't make the trip, live on Fight TV for the fans to watch, this will be on there. And this match, I think, was just added like yesterday or today, right?
Yeah, it was on last night's Fusion episode. They announced the national open weight title fight between champion Ricky Shane Page going up against Jimmy Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for this match for one reason. One, obviously, these two guys absolutely kill it in the ring. But they held one out for us, bro. They held a match out for us.
Yeah. We said we was going to riot if the match were to take place.
We see my man in the picture right here.
I was going to point that out to you. Like, why they like subliminally got him down there though? But at least they got him on Jimmy Lloyd though, right? Shout out to Akira though.
So we know we're going to get a huge payoff match with these two guys. They're going to absolutely tear the house down. Akira is obviously going to be next in line for that open weight title. And I'm praying that come January here in Philly, we get Akira and Ricky Shane Page for that open weight title.
Right.
Because Akira is an absolute stud in the ring, and he's been taking a lot of losses lately. He lost his singles title. Last pay-per-view, he lost his tag titles. It's just take a lot of L's, and it's time to get him back on track. And I think he ends up challenging for that title.
Don't mention the L's to him. You know what happens.
Yeah, so I do think Ricky wins this match. I wouldn't be shocked if it was a situation where like Akira comes to try to help Jimmy Lloyd to even the odds because the callings kind of got the upper hand in this match. And then we see a situation where Akira inadvertently costs Jimmy the match type of thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked with seeing that. So that'll be interesting to see. But I think Ricky wins this match. And I think oh no, there's not another Fusion taping, right?
No, there's a Fusion taping that night.
No, what I'm saying is Fusion typically runs on Thursdays.
Right.
So this is on Thursday. So unless they move the date next week to like a Tuesday, this past Thursday was the last Fusion that you would have before this pay-per-view.
There'll probably be, there may not even be a Fusion taping, for this week. Hence the pay-per-view on the Thursday.
Yeah.
So they probably.
So I'm wondering, and I didn't see it. Did they air yet the Jimmy and Cannonball?
Yes, that was last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So perfect then. So that set up this match. So it makes sense going forward. Yeah, so I think Akira inadvertently cost us Jimmy this match, setting up them at I think it's King of the something like that.
The Coliseum? Was
King of the Coliseum, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I practically echo everything you just said as far as this particular match. You know, definitely happy that it's not RSP and Akira for the open weight title. You know, likewise praying that they do bring it to Philadelphia. But I do
I'm
got, you
curious to
know,
see how the extreme this match gets, though. I will say that because New York, I think, lets a little bit more go
yeah.
weapons. So I'm curious to see how extreme these two guys go on Fight pay-per-view with no TV restriction. I'll be interested to see what they do.
Then again, I don't know. It wasn't, you know, as extreme like when GCW ran at the Hammerstein that time. But I mean, they did, you know, a few things, but nothing too crazy. They
Yeah,
might go as far as maybe like tax or something.
yeah, we'll see.
Maybe.
From what I hear,
So,
that Philly has one of the most strict uh, commissions, like PA, for extreme wrestling around.
right,
So,
definitely. So next match we got the TJPW Princess of the Princess title fight with Mio Yamashita going up against our God Queen, the Dummy XO. You know, I know a lot of people have been raving about Miyu and the way, you know, she likes to kick people. Hence the stance currently, you know, you know, what I mean, right on her photo. But trust and believe, Dummy, you know how to move her legs too, as far as like kick wise. So I think this is definitely going to be a solid match on this particular card. This is actually going to be one of my top three to look out for on this card. But as far as pulling out the victory, only, you know, I'm gonna play Homer because she was on our show. I'm rolling with Delmy with the upset to become the Princess of Princess title. I mean, champion. Excuse me.
so first shot to TJPW. They were actually just announced today as part of the collective for
Yep.
Philadelphia for Mania weekend. So GCW collectives, TJPW will be part of that. To shout out to them. I don't see Dummy unfortunately winning the belt. I think it's going to be a great match. I think we just got to go in there just being grateful that it's going to be an excellent match. I in situations like this, I almost wish, unless they Shaka Soul and Dummy does win the belt, I almost wish it was just a non-title match because then it kind of leaves it open to either one of them could win.
Right.
I mean, Dummy has expressed her interest in going back to Japan and stuff like that. So it would be very cool to see that for her. Just the legend that she's fighting and stuff, I just don't see it happening. But again, it'd be very cool for Delmy to see her win that and be able to go to Japan and defend that title and stuff. But we'll see. I just don't see it.
Nah, I got you. It's going to be a good fight though. This is actually also going to be a good fight.
Yeah, these women matches during this card are gonna slap. Like,
Yeah. This is actually my
well,
my other pick as far as like, you know what I mean, match of the evening. I think Janai Kai and Macchiato is you know, two that can move, you know what I mean, and get busy in a square circle. And with you know, the run that you know, Janai got going on right now with the title defenses, like she's on a you know what I mean, wrecking streak at this
yeah,
moment. So, but as far as this particular matchup, I'm actually gonna go with Janai retaining the featherweight championship, and bringing that back to Philly whenever they come back.
I agree. I agree with you here. And I shout out to Janai because she was one of the guest speakers at the one show in WrestleCade this past weekend.
Yeah,
And it was impressive listening to her, you know, because she's like this mean, hard nosed wrestler, and then like hearing her talk and like her life and like her interests and stuff like that, like it was a 180, and it was really cool to see. But yeah, shout out to Janai. I think I think she wins this match. I think it's going to be a very, people who don't know Maki Ito, they see this get up and they think, she's like all glitz, no glamour type thing. But this chick is stiff in the ring. She could throw some shots. So I'm expecting to see some back and forth, maybe kick exchanges where it's like, holy crap, these ladies are trying to get each other's heads off type of thing.
Yeah, I think all eyes are going to be watching this match. Might be even, particular member from the Boomerang Fight Club might be watching this match. You know what I mean? Really, really closely as well.
Redact that.
Hey, look, I'm just saying. Meanwhile, next up,
this match was shocking to me, man. It was really shocking to me. Because everything that we've seen so far, it seemed like it's going to be Ichiban next up for that title shot. So to see this match book, which from a name standpoint is huge for the one shot, it makes me wonder if Romero's run in MLW is coming up, possibly, because this match came out of left field. It just totally came out of nowhere.
Right. I think their selling point is, based on the tag team match they just had, at Fightland. So, this is kind of like that carryover. I'm only guessing at this point because, since that event and on the Fusion tapings, like there's been that back and forth between Selena De La Renta and Ichiban. So, based on,
did you see the match announced for this?
Oh yeah, as far as Selena and Ichiban.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's what that's probably why we don't see him going up against Rocky Romero at the moment, because they're 9 times out of 10 they're probably setting that up, for a later date, preferably Philadelphia.
Rocky is both champions right now, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I think I wouldn't be shocked Rocky wins. Just to see Ichiban win at the next pay-per-view, but yeah, it's gonna be a great match. Still, all these matches are just gonna, like, regardless of the outcome, even if we're completely wrong, it's gonna be a great card.
Yeah, no, I agree, but also I got Rocky winning too. I think they got they got something going on. You know what I mean, with them, and they can't let them lose now. Like it's way too soon. And he hasn't really put a dent in his title run in MLW at the moment. But yeah, this one right here is definitely going to be a good match. Kojima going up against Filthy Tom Lawler. Kojima, one of the I believe it was inaugural champions of MLW, and now he's returning to where it all started, and going up against Filthy Tom Lawler. Definitely going to be a great match. I do think this is probably going to be one of the matches where we get that interference, and Lawler probably picks up the victory.
Yeah, I think so. With the stable they're putting together now, I wouldn't be shocked with Lawler winning this. Again, we're talking about matches with like some stiff strikes.
Right.
We're gonna see some stiff strikes in the corner during this match. It's gonna be a great match. I think you're gonna see a lot more of the New Japan style wrestling. More stiff, just miss type moves type of things. But I think this match is gonna be excellent. I agree with Lawler. I think they're gearing up to have we've seen it in the past with Contra and MLW where they kind of run rampant on the whole company.
Yeah.
I think WTF's like a slightly goofier version with St. Laurent leading it, but I think WTF kind of is taking over MLW.
I don't know. Maybe I just never really paid attention to it, but like the promos they ran yesterday, like they got the whole old school WWF look of the WTF in the background. Like
even the music is like old school WWE music,
right? Like I love it. And
shout out to Mr. Thomas because he made that point. I never picked up on it until he said it when he was like, St. Laurent wears the same tracksuit every
Yeah.
single show. He's like, he even said so much so that that his sweat is pouring through the seams.
Through the seams, yeah. Shout out to Mr. Thomas, man. That boy funny for sure. So, but next match, we got the main event, the World Heavyweight title fight. Matt Cardona going up against MLW World Heavyweight Champion, the Suplex Assassin, Mr. Boomaye, 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 Alex Kane with Jacob. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm about to say with Jacob Fatu. It was actually Kane or Fatu going up against Cardona, but Kane won at Fightland, so it's going to be Alex Kane going up against Matt Cardona. So, Joey, I'm gonna let you kick this one off. Your thoughts on this main event?
I genuinely don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Kane's held a belt for almost 6 months now, right? I think.
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
No, when he won it, he won it in what, June? Was it July, right? It was at Furry Road.
Yeah, so almost like 5 months now.
Yeah.
Is that enough time to warrant the entire push that you made with the Boomaye for a year and a half? I don't know.
Right.
This is hard. I wouldn't be shocked if someone else joined Boomaye or came to Boomaye's aid. But I think they're setting up for the War Chambers with Boomaye versus WTF.
Right.
So I just think someone else is going to come to the aid. When would War Chambers be? Let me see when they run it. 2023.
Why are you looking at that? As far as April, okay.
So January. I mean, it's possible, to hold it out until April to let all this run. I'm gonna go with Kane retaining.
You're going Kane retaining? I'm retaining. Yeah, I'm actually going with Kane too. Initially, I was thinking maybe they would, put the strap on Cardona, but it kind of don't make sense at the moment with where Kane has since evolved as the champion. Also, like you said, this also keeps the storyline building. For future matches, which, like you said, will probably be the War Chambers event, where it'll be the Boomaye Fight Club going up against World Titan Federation.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when you were going to look it up, as far as like possible arrival of a new member, maybe it might be that person that's behind him in this shot. Like maybe Jacob Fatu, maybe not like fully join Boomaye, but just like become an alliance with them.
But yeah, we seen them kind of incorporate Fatu because of the fact that they got involved and took him out last time. So that wouldn't shock me if Fatu kind of came like not a real member, but like an ally, like you said, because of the fact that they attacked Fatu and put their hands on Fatu type of thing.
Right. Yeah, I definitely could see something like that. But yeah, again, this allows even longer storytelling between both factions, and all World Titan Federation can do right now is still multiply by the number of players they got right now. And they even this past episode they also showed Zeta signing a contract with World Titan Federation.
Yeah.
So, but no, all in all, this is definitely going to be a great event. Again, MLW also co-sponsored by World Titan Federation. I'm just saying it because that's what's on the screen. It's there. One shot coming to you live on Thursday, December 7th in New York City at the Melrose Ballroom. If you can't, attend, it's definitely going to be played on, was that Fight Plus? That's where it's at, Fight Plus?
Yes.
Nice. And if you are looking to attend, tickets can be purchased at mlwnyc.com. That's mlwnyc.com. So, yeah, man, we over the 2 2-hour mark. Goodness gracious. I don't feel like
No,
we
we
did that in a while.
had an action-packed show. Next week we got Rough. You've seen him on H2O, IWTV. Jimmy Deacon coming on the show, so
Yes,
keep
sir.
an eye on that. We got that happening next week. It's gonna be a good show. But yeah, overall, I wild time wrestling right now, man. Lot going on across the board in all wrestling. We got Mania season getting ready to kick into full gear.
Yep.
You got
World's
End coming up. We have
Final battle.
Sting's last match will happen in North Carolina. There's a lot going on right now in wrestling. So almost too much to cover in one show week to week, and that's kind of why we're at 2-hour mark as it is. And we didn't even touch AEW this week. You know what I mean? So
exactly. And that's a big deal because it look like they're in a process of potentially revealing who this masked person is. So there's more to come on that. But yeah, man, so much going on in the pro wrestling world. You can't not but be happy as a fan. And be able to enjoy this and to the wrestling community, stop taking sides, man. Watch everything, damn it.
Bro, before we end, can I just say, I'm so tired of seeing fans post pictures of empty halves of the arenas or oh my god, SmackDown got this rating or AEW. Who gives a shit? Do the ratings put money in your pockets? Do the amount of fans put the money in your pockets? Does the amount of fans change the way you watch the match? Does it change the perception of the match?
Exactly.
No, if it's good wrestling, who gives a crap how many fans are on the hard cam side? How many fans are watching at home?
Right.
All that matters is if you're watching. If you're watching,
be grateful.
Who cares?
Yeah.
AEW in 2023 netted $179 million. That's almost double what they made the year before. So any idiots that are saying it's a dying company, shut up.
Exactly. You done said it. You can find them at Woods Wrestling number 3.
Find me, because a dying company doesn't net $179 million.
Or sell 70,000 seats at a soccer stadium.
Yeah, or sell in a year where they said it's supposed to be down. In one day of officially being on sale, 34,000 tickets.
Right.
Come on.
But they go on night apparently.
If anything, I think this is the beginning of AEW, and we could do a whole show. And I think this is where we start to see AEW become more of a wrestling company where they put on wrestling shows and less of a sports entertainment company and worry about storylines. I think we're starting to see that transition with I think it's called the Continental Tournament.
Yes.
We see this now. It's kind of that transitioning more to the New Japan mantra wrestling. I think we're seeing a transition where Tony's saying we don't need to be a WWE light. We need to go back to being the alternative. And I think we're seeing that now where they're going to let their hats ride on good wrestling and stop worrying about the storylines as much.
Yeah. And that's definitely more to come, as we get closer to the end of the year. We're definitely going to do a state of the promotions and take our time on that and allow each promotion to get the time to address. So definitely more to come on that. So all right, Mr. Joey Woods, we are out of here. Shout out to everyone: Mike Fresh, Wrestling Independent, Justin, Valencia, Joe, Fetz Lux, part of the X brand movement. We, greatly appreciate everyone for tuning in this evening. As always, check us out on our social media platforms to find out, next week's guests and or possible discussions that's going to be taking place on our show. Till then, Mr. Joey Woods, I am Politic and Hawk. This was Still Steps coming to you live, powered by Edge of Philly Sports. Till next Friday, we'll holler at y'all later. Peace.